It's a good thing Dan's in charge here.
Hey, Dan.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So Steve will be there.
Which one do you want there? Right here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. For now, yeah. These are.
Okay. Yeah.
Careful, the mic is hot. Careful. Don't say anything.
Yeah, this works.
Hello.
Good evening. We'll call to order our meeting at 6:30 p.m. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Dr. Tang, if you would give us the honor of that.
Yes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The invocation from Associate Pastor David Kim from Gateway Friends Church.
Me. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you and we thank you for the opportunity to care for our city of Diamond Bar. Father, we thank you that you have given us leaders and servants to oversee as well as to consider how to bless this community. And so, Father, we ask for your wisdom, we ask for your understanding, and we ask for your discernment that we be able to make decisions that benefit not just ourselves, but our whole community, that you would give us the eyes to see and the ears to hear what is going on, and that you would just be able to equip every servant leader to do your will, to be able to bless and care for the people you've entrusted to us. And so we ask this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Kim, and thank you very much for being here. We'll have the roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Chow,
I'm here.
Councilmember Liu,
Here.
Councilmember Tang,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lo,
I'm here.
Mayor Tai.
Here. Okay. We would say jump the few things here. City Manager Fox, are there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes to the agenda this evening.
The agenda is hereby approved. Let me go back to the beginning. The public is encouraged to join the meeting online or by phone at the numbers printed on the agenda, which can be found on the city's website at www.diamondbarca.gov or in person, Main Auditorium, South Coast Air Quality Management District, where we're sitting now. We've also allowed public comments to be submitted in advance to the city clerk. If any were received, they will be noted for the record when we get to the public comment period. This meeting is being recorded, and by participating, you're giving your permission to be televised. This meeting will be rebroadcast every Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. and alternate Tuesdays at 8 p.m. and archived for viewing on the city's website. So that takes us to I hope I said it already, the agenda is approved. Special presentation certificates, proclamations, we have none. That brings us to city manager reports and recommendations.
No additional reports this
None
evening?
of those either. So that brings us to public comments, and that is the time reserved on each regular meeting agenda to provide an opportunity for members of the public to directly address the council on consent calendar items or other matters of interest, not on the agenda, that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. Although the city council really values your comments, pursuant to the Brown Act, members of the city council or staff may briefly respond to public comments if necessary, but no extended discussion and no action on such matters may take place. There's a 5-minute maximum time limit when addressing the city council, and at this time, I will call up speakers who have submitted a speaker card first. Then City Clerk Santana will ask for those callers joining the teleconference who may wish to speak under public comments. And I have received a couple of cards here. The first one is Paul Aiken.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council. On this election day, proud to be here. Thank you for letting us speak. Many places around the world, people don't have this opportunity, so we certainly appreciate it. My name is Paul Aiken. I've lived in Diamond Bar for 50 years. Moved here January 13, 1976. Been through Little League soccer, girls softball. I remember Grand Avenue being a 4-way stop and nothing on all 4 corners. Diamond Bar has been a great place to live and to raise a family. Over the years, Diamond Bar has been blessed with outstanding mayors, city council people, and dedicated city workers. Honest, hardworking, being open with the residents. We all appreciate that. As the years go by, it takes more money to live, to raise your family, to educate your children, and to operate City Hall. I have attended a Preserve Diamond Bar meeting, heard Ryan McLean give us much information and facts, and answered a lot of questions. Thank you, Ryan. There are many small adjustments the City Council can and will make. The number one thing the Council can do is to raise the sales tax 1%. That can bring in about $6 million and help preserve Diamond Bar. They have a short period of time to do this and to get it on the November ballot. Let's all pray and work and support the council in doing what will preserve Diamond Bar into the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aiken. Next, I have Karen Eubanks.
Good evening, Mayor Steve Ty and council members. My name is Karen Eubanks. I am a resident of Diamond Bar for over 40 years. I am a member of the Diamond Bar Senior Citizen Club and here to talk about the need to install automatic doors or handicap access to the Diamond Bar Center. It was on your budget, and we were so happy to finally have these doors installed. But at our meeting, we were told it was taken out of the budget. We were very disappointed after being promised for so many years and still nothing being done about it. Recent innovations included new air conditioning, lighting, water fountains to refill water bottles, and recently, a new dance floor. Many seniors use walkers or canes, and the doors are so heavy. It would be so helpful to have automatic doors installed. A push-button device that opens the doors from the outside and inside. Please consider filling this need for all of us and put this request back in the budget and make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ebanks. Next, I have Grace Lim Hay.
Good evening, Mayor Tai and council members. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our concerns about waste management tonight. We want to share our experiences with you so that you can make good decisions and maybe protect other associations besides ours. We also want to bring to your attention the wonderful support received from City Staff Member Kathy Nguyen, who, thanks to her, helped us address some of the issues we are facing with the waste management. Just as a background, when we switched our services in January, before the end of that month, Waste Management's marketing department was writing our community hard to increase our services. Instead of 2 pickups, they demanded that we go up to 3, simply because they felt our trash was too full. Now, this was in January, right after Martin Luther King holiday. We tried to reason and say, look, that's not a good gauge for how our trash flows. And we tried to address their concerns by moving some of our bins that are half empty to the areas where, there's a lot more traffic and more homes. So we felt that we were doing better. And we even shared that with Waste Management, let them know, I think we've addressed your issues. It's really been much better. And we have volunteers picking up trash, policing the bins. But no sooner did it get better than Waste Management started being inconsistent with their collections, skipping some bins, and then when we bring it to their attention that, hey, you didn't pick up our trash, they would still, charge us overages next time they came around to pick it up, even though, that by its very nature was a result of a missed collection. So their customer service, did not want to reverse those charges. It's only because Kathy Nguyen intervened that we were able to get a reversal on hundreds of dollars of penalties from them. And they're supposed to hold off on these overages until September of 2026. But we are worried that after September, we'll be at the same cat and mouse game again with them. They do take pictures of our trash. That's part of their super system of accountability. But we are concerned because some of the pictures we received seem really strange and subjective, because what seems dangerous and full to them seemed like an average bin of trash to us. So we kind of feel like, well, this system kind of is ripe for misrepresentation. They have a conflict of interest. And today, members of my community and I walked with Yvette from Waste Management. We showed her the areas where they tended to skip the trash. We're working with her as best as we can. But she did admit something, that when they take pictures of our trash, that gets sent immediately to a snapshot department that is part of the marketing department based in Arizona. And they immediately start using that information to pressure associations to, add services, pay thousands more a month for services they may not really need. So we wanted the city to know this, because without Kathy's help, we felt like we were just going to be fleeced forever. And we hope the city can check with other HOAs who might be dealing with similar issues and being preyed upon by certain practices like this. And maybe the city could consider sending like a feedback form or evaluation so that they can be sure that the services being rendered to them are fair and they're not being abused. So I just thought you should know that. And thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Limhay. Would you answer a question for me? Did they actually come back and pick up the waste that was ignored? Did they take a picture of that?
We took pictures, went to our management. So let's say they forgot to pick up the waste or skip certain bins on Monday. So most of us work. By the time we come home and discover that, hey, this is the same trash I saw yesterday, our management company is closed. So we report, send an email, because it takes a long time to get to someone on the phone. And if they're closed, there's no point, right? So the next working day, we got on the phone with them. The problem with it is that their system is automated. There's a machine that answers. And based on their machine, they're going to say, oh, our records show your trash was picked up. Okay, but not all the trash was picked up. So you have to wait per person. That takes a long time. You have to be literally on that phone for half an hour. And most people probably going to blow that off. And if our manager does get to it, it'll be near the end of the day. So it probably won't get picked up until the next collection visit. So that's why I was saying you shouldn't charge us overages, and you should even give us a refund for service not rendered for that day. But, that was a no-no to them. It was not until Kathy Nguyen intervened that we got at least our overages reversed.
Thank you for that information. I made a note here that says customer service is non-existent. So
It's a
thanks.
machine, yeah.
Thank you very much. You heard it here first, guys. Remember that, okay? That is it. I had 3 cards. Is there anybody else that would like to, I'm sorry. No, not, time out.
Mayor,
Sorry,
there were
yes.
no,
City Clerk Santana, I would make an eye contact with you.
yes, Mayor, there were no emails submitted for public comment, and there are no callers on the line at this time.
Very good. Okay, you jumped your turn, but
Yeah. Okay, good evening, Mayor, City Council members. So the several meetings now, I've introduced new deputies to you. Last time, I think it was the last meeting, I introduced Chris Green. Today, I'm going to introduce Deputy Chris Hicks. So he's behind me, and I'm just going to let him introduce himself. He'll be working the PM shift as one of the special assignment officers.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, City Council. Good evening, members of the public. Like my captain said, my name is Deputy Christopher Hicks. I've been a member of the LA County Sheriff's Department for going on 14 years. I've been a deputy at Diamond Bar Sheriff Station for 3.5. A little bit about me. I am married. I have 5 beautiful daughters.
oh boy.
I have 2 sets of twins, and then I have a toddler. So I know how important family is. And looking from the outside of the city of Diamond Bar, I can see that that's what is most important here, is your residents. Most of your residents are family, and they've been here for a very long time. And I see how important that is to the city and the council as well. For me, on my side as a deputy, I came from working in the unincorporated area of Rolling Heights as a crime car. So going on to a SAO team at Diamond Bar, it changes completely. When I was in Rolling Heights, I was used to going from call to call, following the box, just trying to get our calls for service done. Now I'm finally in a position where I can actually slow down and address the members of the community. And a lot of times, some of these members just want to be listened to, So hopefully I can not only be able to stop crime and be proactive, but also listen to the members of the community. And if it's something I can bring up to our connects, then it's also another helping hand to the council. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. Hopefully you don't get me confused with Christopher Green. We look completely different. But thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council. Thank you, Captain. And I look forward to serving this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Hicks.
Yes, sir.
And so 2 sets of twins.
Yes, sir. I have,
Before you had the 5th one.
Yeah, so the 5th one, actually, she absorbed. So I almost had 3 sets. Wow. Yeah. So my first set is 9, 7, and then I have a 2-year-old.
Wow. Yeah. Congratulations on so many levels.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayor.
Good to have you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, is there anyone else? That's all the cards we have. Please come forward and tell us your name and share your thoughts with us.
Good evening. My name is Brian Ota, and I'm one of the current, and this is actually for the current and future seniors. And I know we have some future seniors coming up. When my wife and I joined the senior club about 3 years ago, we noticed, coming through the doors and everything that are not working. And it's been at least 3+ years that I know of, maybe even longer. So I'm here to tell you that in our club, we have people with canes, we have people with walkers, we have people that have mobile devices, whether it's a scooter or anything of that nature. So, and I know there's been a lot of repairs done to the center, and you can tell anybody that on Mondays and Fridays when we're not there because of work being done, it's been quite a few weeks that we've been without our center. My reasoning is, when I walked through the doors right here into the center, I didn't do anything. I just walked to the door and they opened up. And when we leave, the same thing's going to happen. It's going to be a motion detector. The doors are going to open. And that's really what we're kind of hoping for. I think the push button thing is fine, except for the fact that if you're in a scooter or something, you still have to reach and go get it, versus something that's very similar to what is at this facility. And the front door is the priority, but I also would like to add 2 other areas. One is the ballroom, because there is nothing there also. And the other is the doors that are within the circle, the driving area there. So those are really, the priority is obviously the main door. But I think what we also need is to think about, if we're going to do this, let's just do it right the first time so it lasts forever, and let's get all 3 done at the same time if we're going to try to make this happen. And again, we've been promised this for many years, and I think it's about time that it gets back into the budget so that we don't have any issues of anything. And if you ever tried to carry things through the door and having to wait for somebody to open it for you, or you understand what we're talking about. And I know a lot of things are brought in, all the time. Whether it's paperwork or things that people carry or have to use a cart or whatever they need. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ota. I appreciate you sharing that with us. Is there anybody else? No, so we have nobody else that is looking to speak. Again, one more shot at the crowd. Anybody want to talk to the council? Okay, we'll close public comment, and we'll move on to schedule future events and consent calendar. Mr. Fox.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. On the schedule of events, we have Coffee with a Cop will be held on Thursday morning, June 4th from 9 to 11 a.m. at Tacitus Coffee on North Diamond Bar Boulevard. Planning Commission meeting scheduled for Tuesday, June 9th has been canceled. The Red Cross will be having a blood drive on Tuesday, June 16th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Diamond Bar Center. And our next City Council meeting will be held on Tuesday, June 16th, starting at 6:30 p.m. here in the AQMD Auditorium. On the consent calendar this evening, you have approval of the May 19th regular meeting minutes, ratification of the check register dated May 6th through May 19th, approval of the treasurer's statement for April, and adoption of resolution number 2026-14, approving continued participation in the LA Urban County Community Development Block Grant Program for fiscal years 27-28 through 29-30. That concludes the consent calendar.
Okay, is there anybody that would like to pull anything from the consent calendar? I would entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion, Mayor. Motion to approve.
I have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Lowe
I'll second.
and a second from, what do we call you?
Chow.
Councilman Chow. City Clerk Santana, please call for the vote.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Chow,
Yes.
Councilmember Liu,
Yes.
Councilmember Tang,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lowe,
Yes.
Mayor Tai.
Yes, 5-0. And that brings us to public hearings. We don't have any today, and will take us to council consideration. Item 8.1, City Manager Fox.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Our City Clerk, Christina Santana, will be making the staff presentation.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and council members. Tonight, I will give you an overview of the Brown Act amendments set by Senate Bill 707, which was signed into law with the intent to modernize the Brown Act to improve transparency and expand public access across communities. In the interest of time, I will be touching on the major requirements set forth by SB 707 tonight. For a more in-depth look into this expansive piece of legislation, Attachment 3 in the agenda report provides a more extensive overview of all of the requirements. So as of January 1st, 2026, SB 707 updates the Brown Act teleconference rules to make remote participation easier, more consistent, and more accessible for both government bodies and the public. The new rules will be in effect until January 1st, 2030, and essentially extend the COVID-era teleconference flexibility. Expanded access, two-way teleconferencing participation, and language access for eligible legislative bodies will go into effect as of July 1st, 2026. Eligible legislative bodies are defined as city councils in cities with populations of 30,000 or more residents, and in counties with populations of more than 600,000 residents. Therefore, the City of Diamond Bar City Council is defined as an eligible legislative body and subject to the updated rules. Please note, the following rules do not apply to our city commissions. Okay. So the City of Diamond Bar currently satisfies half of the major requirements set by SB 707. The city implemented a teleconference system for council meetings in 2020 and has continued to provide residents with the opportunity to access and participate in meetings remotely. Residents have the opportunity to sign up for electronic agenda notification through the subscription feature on the agenda webpage. City Council meeting agenda webpage is also easily accessible and one click away from our homepage. And though rare, translation assistance at meetings has always been accommodated and will continue. We will be adding a section to the agenda notifying the public that though the city does not provide translation services, sufficient space and time can be provided for individuals who wish to be accompanied by a translator at the meeting, and the city may provide reasonable assistance if needed by contacting the city clerk's office 72 hours before the meeting. So the Diamond Bar City Council, as an eligible legislative body, is required to provide translated agendas for all languages spoken jointly by 20% or more of the city's population, provided that 20% or more of the population that speaks that language speaks English less than very well. So to come up with this determination, we used the U.S. Census data from the American Community Survey 2024 5-year estimates detailed table for languages spoken at home for the population 5 years and over. For the City of Diamond Bar, the required language is Chinese. Only the agenda, not the entire agenda packet, is required to be translated and posted in the same manner that we currently post our agendas online and on our bulletin board outside City Hall. Additionally, the city must provide accessible space for publicly translated agendas. A new board has been installed next to our current posting board, and the public will be able to display agendas translated to any other language not required by the city to translate to. SB 707 also requires that the City Council adopt a disruption of telephonic and internet service policy. This policy will require that the City Council immediately recess a public meeting if a technical outage disrupts the public's ability to participate remotely. The council must not resume the meeting until either an hour has passed or the disruption has been fixed, whichever is earlier. If at least an hour has passed and the outage is not fixed, the City Council must reconvene to make a finding to either 1, adjourn the meeting, or 2, announce that good faith efforts were made to restore the service, and the public interest in resuming the meeting outweighs the public interest in remote participation. Whichever action is taken must be memorialized in the City Council minutes. The next policy is the Encouraging Public Participation in City Council Meetings policy, which is written to encourage participation in public meetings, particularly among underrepresented and non-English speaking communities. It applies to all open and public meetings of the City Council and covers media outreach, electronic access and agenda subscriptions, multilingual communication, and community and organizational outreach. For multilingual communication, we've partnered with Doc Access to automatically translate agendas on our agenda webpage to a variety of languages. Currently, any agenda can be translated to over 200 languages instantly. This is a list of other notable changes to the Brown Act. So the Brown Act must be distributed to council members and commissioners. City council compensation is prohibited from being adjusted at a special meeting. An oral report is required prior to changes to the compensation of department heads in addition to the city manager. And the AB 992 sunset date has been removed. So regarding social media restrictions, council members may use public social media to share or gather information, but they cannot discuss agency business with each other or respond to one another's posts, even with emojis. It is staff recommendation that the city council adopt the disruption of telephonic or internet service during council meetings policy in compliance with Government Code Section 54953.4B1 and adopt the encouraging public participation in city council meetings policy in compliance with Government Code Section 54953.43C1I. And upon adoption by the city council, staff will implement all SB 707 requirements and policies. Staff will monitor implementation and update procedures as needed to ensure the continued compliance with the law and best practices. This completes my presentation, and I'm available for many questions at this time.
Is there anybody with us tonight that would like to discuss this with the council? No? Okay. Anybody, before I ask a question, is there anybody else that has questions for? No? One question? Go ahead, please. Dr. Tang.
Just want to make it clear that, according to the presentation, because the Chinese language is more than 20% of the language used, so we have to provide a Chinese translation. But the city already is able to provide more than 200 different language on our website. So do we need to do anything special to satisfy that requirement?
Yes, so the agenda must be posted in exactly the same way as the English language agenda is posted. So that's going to be side by side with the English language agenda on our website, and also side by side physically in our bulletin board.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Santana, could you go back to the page that had disruption? So right there. At that end of the room, there's no ability to carry on the meeting, right? So we did the next best thing and we moved down here. If a disruption occurs, we must immediately recess. And we're not supposed to resume for an hour, and then we get to, who made this silly stuff up?
So you can resume as soon as the power or the disruption, and it's basically internet or electronic disruption, you can resume as soon as it's back online.
So suppose it doesn't happen.
Then after 1 hour, you have 1 hour to try and make it come back and go back online. And if after 1 hour we're not able to get back online for those individuals that are watching remotely, then the city council must make a finding that continuing with the meeting outweighs the benefit of not continuing the meeting, and put that on the record, and then we can continue the meeting. But that's the 1 hour is a minimum requirement that we at least spend an hour troubleshooting, making sure. Many times it's not going to be our equipment. It could be the internet.
Sure.
It could be the internet
Guy
provider.
tonight was yanking his hair out trying to figure out what to do.
Yes.
We can work with what we have here, but it's like,
Yeah. If in the end it's determined that is the internet provider, it's outside of our control, then after 1 hour, we have to wait an hour, and then after 1 hour, the city council makes the finding, and then we can either continue or we can recess the meeting or terminate, end the meeting at that point, and move all the items for a subsequent meeting.
so I'm sorry, I thought I saw after an hour, we could still
Yes.
do our business. But the folks that are on the phone are telephonic, don't get to,
Which is why the requirement is that the city council make a finding.
Right.
That it benefits the city to continue the meeting, notwithstanding the fact that those that were online are not going to be able to participate.
so it's really disruption upon disruption. All right, thank you. I think that's one of the sillier things I've heard come out of Sacramento. I don't think that George Brown would appreciate it. So we have item A and item B. Is there anybody that would like to, I should ask, I'm sorry, I didn't ask to see if anybody's online.
Mayor, no one is online at this time, and there was no public comments for this item
Very
as
good.
well.
Thank you. So we've discussed this. Would anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt
Okay, I have
both.
a motion from Councilman Chow
I'll second that.
and a second from Mayor Pro Tem. Call the roll, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Chow?
Yes.
Councilmember Liu?
Yes.
Councilmember Tang?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lo?
Yes.
Mayor Tai?
It really serves no useful purpose to say no, does it? It'd be a 4-1 vote. It's just about the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So for continuity, I will say yes. So we pass that on a 5-0 count.
Well, I kind of look at it this way, Mayor. The requirements that this legislation is requiring, we're already doing it. So we're ahead of the curve, as always.
I would agree with that, but we don't sit around waiting for an hour. Right? Okay, you agreed with me, I can tell by that look. That brings us to item 8.2. City Manager Fox, please provide the information.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Our Finance Director, Jason Jacobson, will make the staff presentation.
Greetings, Mayor Tai and members of the City Council. It is my pleasure to present you tonight with what I believe will be yet another award-winning budget for the City of Diamond Bar. As you know, this has been a 5-month-long collaborative preparation process that started early in January with the overall goal of aligning our department budgets and operations with the priorities and goals established in the City Council's strategic plan document. After 2 community budget workshops and 2 study sessions and much blood, sweat, and tears from all involved, we are here tonight to formally adopt the fiscal year 26-27 operating and capital budget for the City of Diamond Bar. Tonight, I will largely be going over the presentation I shared 2 weeks ago in summary form, but just wanted to point out that there are 2 changes over the last few iterations. As mentioned before, we had some updated numbers for the assessment districts. In aggregate, all 3 assessment districts increased $176. And in addition, we have the final allocation for CDBG with an extra $3,800 allocated for the curb ramp budget. As we prepared the upcoming budget, we take note of the economic outlook for the city as it is a bit dreary, with average general fund revenue increases across the next 5 years, looking to be about 2.9% on average, and that includes the current year 26-27 for the proposed budget, which does have a 5% increase. The average expenditure growth, on the other hand, is 5.4% annually over the next 5 years. These numbers are included in the 10-year forecast, which I will get to shortly. The expectations are the result of persistently high inflation, a low share for the City of Diamond Bar of the county's property tax. Again, we get just 5 cents on the dollar for every dollar collected by the county. We have stagnant development fees and sales tax revenues for the foreseeable future. And additionally, we have statutory limits on what is permitted by way of revenue increases. For example, Prop 13 from 1978 limits what cities can capture as far as growth in the value of homes, which have averaged about 6% over the last 8 years in the City of Diamond Bar. We capture just a fraction of that. As a result, we are experiencing a structural deficit and have had to cut back and also update our user fee structure to balance next year's proposed budget. I know it's a bit small on this screen. We do have a printed version in the budget book as well. This here chart depicts the projection over the next 10 years As you can see on the very left column, we initially, this time last year, projected a deficit of about $1.5 million. Well, we were very close, as the initial budget draft in January of 2026 initially had a $1.6 million deficit. Your city staff and the council then went to work, and we were able to course correct, right-sizing our user fees and recovering money left on the table. And also we reduced some discretionary programming in the amount of $987,000. As you see there, the ongoing resources less ongoing expenses produce a stable budget of $29,000 surplus. But however, by next year, we will see a deficit again creep up, almost $800,000 as soon as next year, 27, 28, and then by year 5, it's going to be about $5 million. Here is a graphical depiction of our fund balance reserves. As you can see on the left, there are about $29.9 million currently at the end of the next fiscal year. However, all things being equal, if we are not able to correct the revenue sources or cut any programs just to maintain service levels at the 26-27 level of service, we would have to dip into our fund balance over the next few years. And by 2034, we would see essentially the utilization of all of our fund balance. The yellow line there is the minimum reserve requirement of 25%, which we fall below that threshold in 2033. And just a different visualization here. If we wanted to keep the service levels from the current fiscal year that we're in right now, 25-26, the green bar is the additional revenue, is the total revenue we would need in each fiscal year just to maintain current service levels. The status quo in the forecast is the gray. And so essentially in year 2, we would need an extra $1.8 million. By 2031, we would need an extra $5 million. And by the last year in the forecast, we would need an extra $13 million just to maintain current service levels. Looking specifically now at the proposed budget for next fiscal year, 26-27, you can see recurring revenues slightly outpace recurring expenses due to all the work that we put in over the last few months. We do have a one-time proposed use of fund balance for the hazard mitigation plan update. That will be $56,000. And after that nets against the surplus, we'll have a one-time use of fund balance of about $27,000. Briefly going over the revenues for the general fund, we have a total increase of $1.8 million, which is a 5.6% increase compared to the adopted budget last year. Total revenues are $34.1 million. Looking at the high level for our general fund expenditures, we have total budget of, again, $34.1 million. Total increase is $1.8 million or 5.6% compared to the adopted budget for 25-26. The 5.6% increase is net of the $987,000 in program reductions that we reviewed with the City Council at the first community budget workshop. And in spite of those reductions, our Parks and Rec Department will have on offer many beloved programs in the upcoming year. In addition, we have some minor human capital improvement program adjustments for this upcoming year. We are proposing to replace a vacant preschool teacher position, 75% budgeted, with a recreation specialist position. That savings for the next fiscal year will be about $2,000. We also have a public works inspector full-time position, swapping that with an engineering technician position. These position swaps will maintain the city's commitment to investing in optimizing service delivery while providing minimal fiscal impact for the upcoming year. In addition, the proposed budget includes COLA for staff of 3.6% and an increase to the monthly benefit allotment of $100 per month for each employee. Just a reminder, the increased cost of plan benefits is about $121 a month, so we're still not able to keep up with the pace of those costs. Some highlights now in the non-general fund section of the budget. The Traffic Mitigation Fund has a budget of $350,000 for transportation mitigation project planning across the city. The Tres Hermanos Fund has $120,000 for maintenance to the Tres Hermanos Conservation Authority. The Integrated Waste Management Fund has $180,000 for residential and commercial waste hauler audit, which is reimbursable by the waste haulers as well. Additionally, we have $21,000 for expanded student waste reduction and recycling field trips. The Air Quality Management Fund has $74,000, which includes appropriations for the lease of 4 zero-emission fleet vehicles and the Neighborhood Traffic Management Program. The Beverage Container Recycling Grant Fund has an appropriation of $14,000 for new recycling receptacles for businesses and school programs. The Hazard Mitigation Fund has the budget for the full budget for the Hazard Mitigation Plan update, $56,000 of which will be provided by the general fund. Total budget is $221,000. The Landscape and Lighting Assessment Districts, all 3 of them here are shown. You can see over the years we've had significant reductions in the general fund contributions. This year, the total contribution from the general fund is $149,000, which is a decrease of $126,000 from the current fiscal year. The Debt Service Fund has $722,000 appropriated for the payment of principal and interest for the Diamond Bar Center bonds. The city maintains a AA+ rating by Standard & Poor's. Internal service funds include our self-insurance fund and the Vehicle Maintenance and Replacement Fund. We are continuing to see rising costs for insurance premiums, in particular general liability. Total costs are up 26% year over year. The Vehicle Maintenance and Replacement Fund includes $137,000 in appropriations, mainly for maintenance and operations and the lease of the 4 zero-emissions vehicles, with the funding for those 4 coming from the Air Quality Fund. The Equipment Maintenance and Replacement Fund is essentially our computer IT fund. This provides $208,000 in appropriations for hardware and upgrades, mainly for which will be the additional touchscreens for the Enterprise Land Management System, 2 multifunction printers, copiers, 2 firewalls, 2 time server replacements, and additional Tyler support for the post-go live reporting for the Enterprise Land Management System. The Building and Facility Maintenance Fund does not have any expenditure appropriations, but it will receive its required $100,000 transfer in from the general fund. The OPEB fund, Other Post-Employment Benefits Fund, does have $88,000 transferred in from the general fund. The OPEB liability is currently 90% funded, and the goal is 80%, so we are exceeding that goal. And this $88,000 is expected just to kind of maintain that amount, and potentially we could reduce that in upcoming years. Overall, the return on that fund has been just over 5% over the last 9 years. Just a brief review of our capital improvement program, $5.3 million for the upcoming fiscal year. We have $250,000 budgeted for park and facility improvements for the Sycamore Canyon Park lower bridge replacement, $4.3 million for street improvements across the city. We have a residential pavement rehab, Area 5 design, arterial street rehab, Temple to Diamond Bar construction. We have the CDBG funded Area 7 ADA curb ramp construction project. We have, in addition to that, we have $700,000 in public works improvements for stormwater catch basins and the Chino Hills Parkway erosion prevention project. And lastly, $66,000 for battery backups at various traffic signals. Some work plan initiatives I wanted to highlight for the upcoming fiscal year. These are all in detail in the budget book. The city manager's office has the development impact fee study that they will be conducting this upcoming fiscal year. We have the revision of the strategic plan as well. The city clerk's department will be implementing SB 707 requirements for public meetings, and as well as implementing minutes and board portal portions for the agenda management software. The city clerk will also be conducting and coordinating general municipal elections for 3 district seats. The community relations department will be refreshing the city's website And the Finance Department will be working on implementing GASB 103, which is related to financial modeling and reporting for the annual report, as well as assisting the City Manager's Office with long-term budget stabilization strategies. The Human Resources Department will be developing and implementing a formal employee onboarding program. The Information Systems Department will be completing the implementation of the Tyler Energov and Enterprise Land Management System. They'll also be working to integrate the Solar app for online solar panel installation permits with Tyler Energov, virtualizing non-critical servers, and integrating Laserfish with various Tyler applications. Public Safety will be working to revise and update the Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan. Community Development will be working to assist the Information Systems Department to implement the new ELM system and streamline permit processing. The Parks and Rec Department will be working to increase revenue at Diamond Bar Center and increase community offerings through additional outreach and facility exposure events and improve social media presence. They'll also be working to improve communication and information at for park guests through updated park and trail signs. Lastly, Public Works will be completing the construction of the Diamond Bar Boulevard Complete Streets project and starting an electric vehicle transition plan for the city's fleet. That brings us to an overview of the city's total budget. Revenues in total are $49.4 million. Expenditures are $49.9 million. We have an overall use of fund balance across all funds of $529,000, mainly due to the utilization of special revenue funds for various capital projects. Just a reminder there, the CIP fund is only being utilized for general fund and grant-funded projects, which we have none of in the upcoming budget. So all those budgets will reside in the special revenue funds. Do have a couple other items as usual with the adopted budget, and I apologize for the layering in of the different bullets here, but we have the fiscal year 26-27 GAN appropriations limit. The limit is $68.3 million, a year-over-year increase of $2.9 million. The appropriations for next year that are subject to that limit are just $24.3 million, which is $200,000 increase from the current fiscal year. We also have the establishment of the 26-27 compensation and benefit plan, which establishes the cost of living adjustments and the standard benefit allotment for staff. And we have the investment policy, which has no changes. With that, I'll make the recommendation to adopt resolution 2026-15, approving the proposed 26-27 city operating and capital improvement program budget. Adopt resolution 2026-16, establishing the 26-27 appropriations limit in the amount of $68,333,798. Adopt resolution 2026-17, establishing salary ranges and fringe benefits for all employee classifications. And adopt resolution 2026-18, approving the fiscal year 26-27 investment policy. And that concludes my presentation.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jacobson. That was very interesting. Are there any public comments on this item that anybody would like to speak to? This is usually where all the good stuff comes in. All right, I'll close the public comments and city. Oh, come on down. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cindy Morton. I've been a resident of Diamond Bar for 50 years, and I'm with the group from the senior group, our club. And my question is, if you approve the budget tonight, where is there an opportunity for our concerns about the automated doors? Where would that money be appropriated if we continue to pursue this interest for the seniors of Diamond Bar? If you approve that budget tonight, does that mean that we don't have any opportunity to achieve our goal of getting those automated doors at the center? That's my question.
I would say no to your question. That isn't going to be the end of it. It will figure this out.
I figured. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right. Is there?
Mayor Tai, I just wanted to add
Yes, thank you.
we also received an email from Stella and Richard Guzman. That email was forwarded to the City Council and printed for public viewing at the lobby and entrance to this meeting.
Thank you. Anybody on the phone?
No one on the phone.
Nobody there. Okay, any council comments or discussion? Yes, Councilman Tang.
The debt service, 722,000 budget is mainly paying the interest for the loan for the Diamond Bar Center. Is that correct?
Yes, Councilmember Tang, it's for the principal and
Principal, yeah,
interest,
okay.
yes. The amounts are detailed on the budget page for that fund.
My question is just that every few years, when there's appropriate time, will we refinance this debt so that so we can lower this amount? Is it possible?
We actually have refinanced the debt when interest rates were low, saving over $1 million over the remaining term of the bonds. Currently, wouldn't want to do that at current interest rates.
But we'll continue to monitor the market,
yeah.
right? Okay, thank
They
you.
expire in 2033.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Question,
Mayor Pro
yes.
Tem.
Thank you. First question, well, let's start with the thing with the door, the automatic door at the Diamond Bar Center. We talked about this at our workshop, and can you kind of update me on where we are with the discussion about improving those doors and how we can make them automatic for the seniors that actually use that facility?
Yeah, the automatic doors and the ADA upgrades for the Diamond Bar Center, it is in the budget. It's a carryover from previous year. That's why it wasn't listed as a new project. I believe there's about $310,000 that was allocated for that project. We went through the design process, have construction drawings, went out to bid, and the cost came in well excess of that amount. So we are going to have to do some value engineering, reconsider. I might suggest holding off until mid-year to kind of revisit it, depending on the financial situation as we see how things play out this early part of the new fiscal year. But we could certainly, we've heard the comments that it's important to have the automated doors or at least the push button feature, so we can try to kind of re-look at that, after mid-year.
Well, so when you're saying that when we did the budget, when we did this, when the plans were sent out for bidding, the doors were part of that contract. And there, of course, there were other things that were part of that contract. When I understand that we did do some work at the center, kind of in a piecemeal fashion. So are we saying that the doors are going to be out for bid again in a piecemeal fashion, or is that a part of another big, large overall bidding process?
Let me refer to Jason Williams, who might be able to provide a little bit more detail on that for you.
Good evening, members of the City Council. To answer your question, the door portion of the project will have to go out as a larger bid process. The areas that we were able to do smaller were related to the lighting that was part of that original design. The lighting system for the ballroom at the Diamond Bar Center failed, and we were unable to repair it, so it forced us into a position to rush that portion of the project in order to keep the facility functional. The front doors require full design, fire suppression, everything else, along with ADA upgrades to the rest of the openings throughout the building. What that means is bringing the minimum push-pulls to the current standards, bringing the hardware to the current standards, which would address a lot of the concerns that are brought before us.
When you say that it's going to be part of a larger design project, won't we be faced with the same issues that we got back earlier this year with the prices going higher? Because unless we make the request smaller, how would we be able to afford it?
Right now, we're looking at all kinds of different options. Unfortunately, the original design of the Diamond Bar Center did not include automatic doors at the front of it. In order to put in automatic sliding doors, it does require a reconstruction. The current plans and specs that we have that the City Council approved does have those automatic sliding doors and the new front entry in it. We're looking through all kinds of different options, trying to find the best way to go about it. But unfortunately, costs have just skyrocketed, and door hardware is one of those things where prices have gone up a lot.
I remember we talked about the locks, and the locks are ridiculously expensive the last time we were talking about that. But nonetheless, it's something that I feel that we really do need to do that. Can you address the other improvements that have been in place at the Diamond Bar Center that was previously mentioned? The water fountain, the lights, the air conditioning, I believe, and there was a dance floor. What was the rationale for doing all of that extra work?
So we'll start off with the air conditioners. The air conditioners at the Diamond Bar Center were recommended for replacement as they were at the end of their operational life, and they were causing more issues, downtime, and lost revenue than they were actually providing service. At the end of the day, we went through with a value engineered process on that and addressed it in the most cost-effective manner out there. But we felt that that was a major priority due to the loss of ability to actually fully use the facility with the improper air conditioner. There was actually 12 air conditioners replaced there, new VAVs, controls, and we were able to actually decrease the overall energy consumption with that project as well. With the lighting was done because there was a complete failure of the lighting system that was in there that controlled the ballroom. It was an outdated lighting system where the manufacturer no longer supported it and parts were not available. Once we did do it, we were actually at a position for about 3 months where we were unable to turn on and off the lights. We had to keep them in a constant on position, and we only had about 50% of them functioning. Forcing that project in allowed for the continuous use of the facility and the revenue. There was a tight timeline in order for us to do that when an additional AV project to upgrade the audio-visual system inside the ballroom was going on at the same time. So because the whole project, doors and lighting, came in so high, we did what we could to force in the portions that had to be done during that closure, and looking at the bigger funding gap, where the funding gap was in the door project portion, not the lighting project portion. As far as the drinking fountains go, the drinking fountains were paid for with special funds, recycled funds that were used, and it was in order to provide a better service for the hikers and the community use there.
So it was not general fund money for that?
No, ma'am.
What about, are we doing a dance floor for the center as well?
There was a permanent dance floor installed, and that was because there was a portable dance floor that was being used on a daily basis, which required heavy staff time and was reaching the end of its operational life, which was going to require a new purchase, where the permanent dance floor basically takes the place of the consumable portable dance floor. The need for additional staffing and cost was about equivalent.
How much money do we have to do a door project?
Currently, there's about $310,000 budgeted.
We talked about the CDBG funds, which is for ADA curbs. Can that be repurposed for ADA access in this scenario?
I can't answer that 100%, but I do know that anytime you add CDBG funds to a project, you drastically increase the overall cost of the
I
project.
think our city manager's nodding, yes, we can.
CDBG funds would be eligible, but as Mr. Williams just pointed out, it would also add to the cost if you couldn't use, if it exceeds the amount of CDBG funds, we're still paying higher prevailing wage and federal procurement requirements.
I'm sorry, I don't understand that.
There's a lot of strings that come with the federal dollars that drive up the costs. So
we could actually get 38. Did I see CDBG was 38,000 that, and it will cost us 45,000 to use it.
Yeah.
in
So,
essence.
and that's why, we do have it budgeted. We have, 310,000 that the council has put aside for this. Certainly, the council could appropriate additional funding once we come up with a final design. And that's why I would suggest waiting and kind of revisiting it during, mid-year budget review as we get through the first half of the fiscal year to see where the finances fall out and see what the final numbers are and what position that the city is in as to move forward.
The only downside to that, I see the logic and I see the reason on that, but the only problem I see is that the longer you wait, the more expensive it gets. That's what I'm told all the time.
Well, that may be true, but, certainly it's up to the city council if you want to add it to the list, or we can bring that back separately as, we work through some value engineering to come up with a revised plan, and then we can put that out to bid to see what it comes in at.
Well, I kind of see that it's sort of a priority. I like to move that up in the scheme of things. What do my colleagues think?
If I heard you right, you say we've already gone to bid, but you came back much higher than the 310 that was appropriate for. Do we have a ballpark figure out what the bids came back at?
Oh, 1.1.
1.1 million.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And
I
again,
lost control, so
most
go
of
ahead.
that, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Williams, but most of it is because we had to reconfigure the entry to accommodate the new doors, because it just, the width that you have in those current doors, you cannot physically create a sliding automatic door configuration.
But does staff feel like if we value engineer, redesign, I heard Jason say that you might be able to kind of reconfigure the design and hopefully reduce the scope of work and have a different bid? Is that what you said earlier?
There are options that we're looking at for value engineering it. That being said, there is always a possibility of decreasing the cost with value engineering, but based off of where the numbers came in, we do not believe it'll come in anywhere near the 310 that we have currently budgeted.
But do you think if you went out to rebid, you will come somewhere between 300 and 1.1, you think?
I would guess we're coming in somewhere between 800 and the 1.1.
I mean, I would think if we're just getting a bid, I would think we'll at least look at the bid and see if there's a way to work that back in the budget. Maybe not, we can't promise anything, so, but I think at least get a bid and at least look at it. That's what I would say, at least get a bid and look at it.
Councilman Liu, did you have a question?
I
or a
did.
thought?
Thank you, Mr. Williams. You mentioned earlier the reason why the bid came in so high because is when the Diamond Bar Center was constructed, it did not allocate for a automatic door. Can you explain what that means? And in terms of what kind of modification to the building it would require for us to do that?
So essentially, when the center was built, it was built with standard operating doors, meaning push-pull with normal closers that met the ADA requirements at the time. What is designed and is in the approved specs by the city council, plans and specs by the city council, is a redesign of the entry, basically creating a vestibule and a structural frame and waterproofing in order to accommodate the new doors, which includes footings, structural steel, in addition to fire suppression upgrades.
Okay, so that means it requires a much bigger construction project. So are there newer innovations in terms of automatic doors that may be in the future or may start to exist now to kind of fit into the mold what our building has?
Unfortunately, no. Automatic doors, although technology may get better, But when you talk about technology getting better, you're talking about motors getting more efficient, electronics getting more efficient. Doors need a certain amount of space. You have requirements for a certain amount of space. So once you start getting into those with automatic doors, if they're sliders, they have to have leaves. They have to have room to move. So you can, for example, the ones you walk through coming into this building, you know, the leaves have to be able to go over each other. There is options to decrease to the minimum width that a door frame, you know, door open is required to have for ADA, but then you prevent two people from really walking through a door at a single time. So in order to take that opening and really turn it into a proper functioning automatic door system, it requires the use of the vestibule and requires the use of expanding that opening in order to prevent doors from swinging into walkways.
Thank you.
Okay, I got lost somewhere in the discussion that we were having about how much money we need. I'm almost certain it was Mr. Ota, but I might be wrong, that we at one point we had a mechanism that you pushed your hand and it opened the doors. What I heard now, and you just said, Jason, the doors that we came in through open for us. It's the same thing at here or at Alpha Beta. I'm not, oh my God, am I sorry about that. Albertsons, so close. So in my mind, it makes better sense to have it like we came through today, or Albertsons, or Stater Brothers for that matter. Pick your own. Wouldn't that be easier to do than putting that device up there that you have to hit and hopefully you get in before it closes?
That is the current design, sir.
It is.
Automatic sliding doors. The aftermarket electronic operator that was added to those doors at the Diamond Bar Center back in the day is actually part of the reason that we're in the position we're in, because that frame was never designed for it. Structurally, it was never designed for it. And therefore, over the years, it's actually torn itself apart.
Wow. I believe, and I don't know that we're in the right place to do this, it does have to do with, we're talking about the budget anyhow. I think we need to, speaking for myself, I heard you say it, I think we have consensus. I think it's something we need to find the resources for. So it's the right thing to do, right? I mean, that's what we've done for 30-some years, taking care of Diamond Bar and certainly taking care of the our seniors. So and again, I think it was Mr. Ota who said, I'm not sure he was referring to himself or he was looking at me, that I think we're going to have more people there. So I think it's important. I think we need to take care of it. So any other? Yes, Councilman Tang.
Well, I totally agree with you that we have to look for the resources. I was just thinking that not long ago we were doing some revision of fees for other services in our city. For the Diamond Bar services, I think we can also do some modification of our fees, because I was looking around with all the facilities rentals in this area. I found that Diamond Bar City actually charge lower than average to the people who want to use the facility. So I think some of these days we can probably sit down and reevaluate our fee schedule. Maybe we can modify some fee schedule so we increase the revenue to pay for the upgrade that's needed for serving the community better. So that's another way to increase the resources for the budget.
Sure,
Thank
I
you.
agree with you. Any other thoughts? Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
Well, are we done with this particular item on the budget? Anybody else
so.
want to wait? So we're good with, so just to summarize, I think we have consensus that this item is going to be bumped up in our priority and that we're going to value engineer it and do what we need to do to get this done. Yes? Is that what
And
we
we
have,
have
Mayor?
consensus here, right? I don't like heads shaking. Say yes. Yes, everybody agrees. So we all are on the same wing
Okay.
here. So, all right. So
Thank
that
you.
means,
Thank you. We're
would
moving.
someone like to make a motion?
Well, I'm not done yet.
Oh,
There's more.
but wait. There's more.
Of course, there's more. Okay, presentation.
It's on.
This is back to the budget presentation, great presentation. My question is on page 105 of the package, 105 of 405, and it's the Parks and Recreation section. And I noticed that we went through a very lengthy and actually very painful workshop to eliminate certain, a lot of things that our community really enjoys, but in light of our current financial situation, we had to cut a lot of things. So my question on this item is that we cut quite a bit of items out of the Parks and Recreation budget, but according to the report, we have an increase in the increase in expenses. So it would seem to me that if we reduce the items from our budget, we're trying to save money. But on the other hand, your report says that we actually increased our costs. I don't understand how that works.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. The decrease, there's a decrease in recreation programs. The increase I believe you're referring to is the Diamond Bar Center operations. Is that correct?
It says expenses for, I'll read the paragraph to you. Expenses for recreation programs and Diamond Bar Center operations have been adjusted commensurate with anticipated activities and service level reductions for a combined total budget of $4.56 million, a total increase of $32,000 from the prior year. So with the decrease in the our activities, why do we have an increase in our budget?
Yeah, so good question. The increase is based on the Diamond Bar Center, more specifically utilities to operate that facility. So although there's a decrease in recreational offerings such as special events, the increase that you're seeing for the department as a whole is based on Diamond Bar Center, specifically utility costs to operate that site.
Well, that would seem to me it's crying out for a total revamp of the adjustment of our fees to run that center.
We can do that. We can certainly take a look at the rental fees, if that's the interest of the council.
Because, I mean, that's the whole point, that we took away a lot of, we took away the concerts and the movies and the Snow Fest, and we used, it seems to me we used that money to pay the electric bill. That's just seems weird to me.
You're not getting any, nobody's disagreeing with you, but.
I want to know why. Why. Is it because our rates have gone up that high? Are the lights left on for 24/7? What's causing this?
Councilmember Law, I'll direct you to page 247 in the packet, which is the budget detail for the Diamond Bar Center. And there you can see every line item in the budget, from personnel to supplies to operating expenses. And year-over-year operating expenses are, the current year, $341,000, proposed for next year, $356,000. We have, staffing as well, an increased total of about $26,000 for personnel, and about $40,000 or $50,000 for capital outlay as well.
I appreciate that we have a detailed line item for how the costs add up to run that center. But what have we done in terms of reducing those numbers, commensurate with the other reductions that we've made in our budget in other areas?
So the projects that we discussed earlier, the air conditioners, the lighting, those were all factors in actually decreasing off the Diamond Bar Center, but something I can give you exact numbers on because we were just looking at them. Overall, last year, the City Council approved an energy upgrade project to the air conditioners at City Hall. We went through, we spent the money. We noticed an actual 8% decrease in energy use, actual consumption. We still realized a 5% increase in energy costs just to the rate increase. So we can kind of see where Unfortunately, just like at home, Edison gets theirs.
We can't win, can we?
No, ma'am, we do our best.
And I think if I could just add real quick, the programs that the council considered for eliminating in this year's budget weren't related to the Diamond Bar Center. They were all Parks and Recreation, which is a separate division within the budget. They were all within that aspect of the, or part of the budget, as opposed to the Diamond Bar City or Diamond Bar Center operations.
Okay, noted. Okay, I got that. I get that, but that's how it was presented in the budget, so that I had to ask that question. And finally, my last question is, it was really great that you had a slide indicating new initiatives from each of the department. I thought that was really very helpful and just really hardworking of our staff to come up with new things that we are using to serve our public despite the cuts that we have. My question is whether or not those new items that were put forth as what we're doing, does that increase our budget more, or is that part of does it use the amounts that we have reduced to fund those new projects?
So some of them are mainly personnel items, such as, for example, finance, implementing new GASB regulations. It's just one more thing we add to the plate. If we're talking about implementing a software system, we certainly do have appropriations for those, as you saw in the Information Services Fund 503 for computer equipment. City clerk, I know that we do have a large appropriation for elections, which is one of the work items there. So it is a little bit of this and that. So sometimes the staff is able to absorb it under current workload. But for example, even refreshing the city's website, I believe we have no cost for that. Okay. The funding sources are, in that case, are already built into the budget. It's personnel related. And then we also do have in the details there in the work plan sort of a KPI or a metric on how we're going to measure those individual work plan items.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
I mean, I think one of the things you have to think about is what we saw at 8.1 this evening, adopt the disruption of telephonic or interest service during council meetings. How much is that going to cost us? Do we have an idea? We didn't ask for that. And again, I'll say again, even though it was a 5-0 vote, it seems silly. So we are doing everything we can to put things in order. And remember the most frightening words in the English language: I'm from the government and I'm here to help. And that's what we're experiencing here. Anybody else? Talked out. All right, very good. Then now it is time.
All right, I'm going to make the motion, Mayor, with your permission. Adopt item number, do we do all at once, or you want to do?
You can do it all at once.
All right.
So it's A, B, C, D.
Motion to adopt item recommendations A, B, C, and D.
And a second?
A second.
I have a second from Councilman Lowe. City Clerk Santana, please call for the vote.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Chow?
Yes.
Councilmember Liu?
Yes.
Councilmember Tang?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lowe?
Yes.
Mayor Tai?
Yes, thank you very much. That brings us to council subcommittee reports and meeting attendance reports. Councilman Tang.
I have nothing to report tonight, so that's it. Thank you.
That's the way to set it up for us. I like it. Councilman Chow.
Thank you, Mayor. Just have a few quick things. So today is the last day to vote in person. If you haven't done so, you have 9 minutes to rush down to the voting center. It's still good up until 8 o'clock, so get out there and vote. Your vote, it's your voice, so make sure you exercise your privilege to vote as a citizen. I do want to report that on May 21st, the San Gabriel Valley Regional Housing Trust took action to approve nearly $25 million in Measure A funding to help build 212 new affordable housing units throughout the San Gabriel Valley. And this action represents the largest single funding commitment in the Trust's 6-year history. And here are the 4 projects. So the first one is called the Boulevard. It's in the city of Montebello, the 51 affordable units for families and survivors of domestic violence. And the next project is 405 South Del Mar. That's in the city of San Gabriel. 73 affordable housings for seniors. And next one's called El Centro Senior Housing, and that's in the city of South Pasadena. That's 52 affordable housing units, again for seniors. The last one's 36 affordable housing units for low-income households and individuals experiencing or at risk of homelessness, and that's in the city of Alhambra. So these units are made possible, again, through the funding of Measure A, and that's total about 212 units of affordable housing. So that's, again, I want to thank the staff of the Singapore Valley Housing Trust. Lastly, June is a Pride Month, and I do want to take this opportunity to recognize and celebrate the diversity that make our community stronger. Pride's a reminder that every person deserves to feel seen, valued, respected, and accepted for who they are. And it's my hope that we'll continue to foster a city where everyone feels welcome, included, and proud to call Diamond Bar home. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Chow. Councilman Liu.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank staff for the presentation and all your hard work, and I'd like to congratulate the class of 2026. Good work, everyone, and have a great summer. I'll say good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Lowe.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Echo Councilmember Liu's compliments. Great job today. The budget was really difficult to do, as I mentioned earlier. Making the cuts, me personally, was very difficult. I believe the rest of the council found it very difficult to cut the services that the community enjoys, and hopefully that we will find a way to restore those services. And I really appreciate the staff for their work in being creative, and they too sacrifice in the things that they do to make the city and the budget work. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Welcome to Deputy Hicks from to our station, and I hope that he likes it here, and I hope that we don't lose anybody else in the switch. I know how that works. I just wanted to comment on a speaker who mentioned earlier about waste management and the inconsistent collection and an aside, thank you to our staff, Kathy Wynn, for her excellent assistance to our resident as well. And I think this week we also had some compliments of our excellent staff, so I really appreciate the work there. But although we don't have an in-person public comment on this, I received a couple of questions, and that's regarding the increase in waste hauler rates from Valley Vista. So I'm putting it out there. I'm kind of giving the public comment, even though it wasn't during public comment section. And I know that our rules do not give we don't have to take any action with respect to public comment. But I think that in light of the fact that we just instituted a new contract with these vendors, and now we're seeing little postcards that says, hey, your rate's going up, people want to know why. Can anyone on the staff help me with that?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Lowe. I appreciate the opportunity to follow up on this item, provide a little bit more information. So as the council and the community know, Waste Management Valley Vista have been the providers of waste hauler services in town for more than 20 years at this point. In 2024, the City Council gave staff direction to enter into an exclusive procurement process with those two haulers. So what that meant is that both haulers could submit bids for both sectors, residential and commercial. We went through that process, and in early 2025, we brought the results back to the City Council. There were 4 options that the council could consider at that time. 1 is that Waste Management would have both sectors. 2, Valley Vista would have both sectors. And then, of course, you could flip-flop either one for the final 2, where Waste Management could do residential, Valley Vista commercial, or Valley Vista could do residential and Waste Management could provide commercial. Ultimately, the council gave direction to the staff to proceed with Valley Vista taking over residential and Waste Management taking over commercial. So it was a switch of the sectors from which we would have for about 20 years. In implementing that, there was about a 9.8% reduction in rate revenue, which means that the prices were reduced. One of the justifications for the decision at the time was that that particular option provided rate relief on both sectors, where residents and commercial customers, would receive a reduction in their rates. So we moved forward with that, with the contracts going into effect on September 1st of 2025. So about 9 months from the period in which the latest rate reductions would take place. The adopted contracts have July 1st as the effective date for annual rate reduction requests. Rate reduction requests have been in contracts with the haulers for more than 20 years. I did a quick check of the last 10 years, and in 8 of the 10 years, both Waste Management and Valley Vista submitted rate requests. Those rate requests were submitted in conformance with established formulas for annual adjustments that are included in the council-approved agreements. Those formulas are based on the inflationary factors such as tipping fees, the disposal costs associated with getting rid of the trash, fuel, labor, and all of the different aspects that go into the inflationary rates. So those have been in place on July 1st for 20 plus years and are included in the current contract. They also include adjustments at that time, at the July 1st period, to the contributions that the haulers make to the road maintenance funds and the street sweeping funds. And those funds come in on an annual basis. They're adjusted in a similar fashion where we apply inflationary factors and they're increased. Those are included in the budget. So in tonight's budget, we've included both of those costs that come in from the haulers. We established those rate increases on July 1st, again, in compliance or conformance with the process that we've had for more than 20 years. One thing that we did do last year, knowing that we were going to be entering into a new agreement a little bit later than we thought, September 1st was the launch date, there was no adjustment in 2024-25. And so, yes, we are about 3 months earlier than we otherwise would be, but that's coming on the heels of a rate increase holiday in the previous year. And so moving forward, we're going to have an established date. Once we get through this July 1st, it will be on a 12-month rolling period moving forward. And so if there are any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you. That's very comprehensive. I think that perhaps I was looking for maybe a pro rata increase because the contract's only been less than 12 months. But I understand what you're saying about the holiday, and I'm thinking even if we did a pro rata, would that would that increase get picked up at the end of the contract?
Well, I would only be speculating. This is a term that was agreed to in the approved contracts, and so that option really isn't available to us at this point unless we were to reopen and renegotiate that provision.
I get it. Okay, great. Thank you very much. That is the end of my questions, and thank you so much for the help, and thank you for joining us. And with that, I'll say goodnight.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And again, thank you, staff. Thank you, Jason, with the terrific, all the information that you gave us on the budget and what we have looking forward. So I really appreciate that information. The staff, again, Jason, just getting everybody together and helping them see what they need to do and do it on their own and find out by the different divisions. So I really appreciate that. With that, I will. Who? Excuse me. Well, as I said a little while ago, I lost contact. All right. I have a system here, you know. Let me just say that I would like to adjourn tonight in memory of William Burke. Everybody called him Bill. He was a chair of the AQMD where we're sitting right now, and he is a Renaissance man that 40 years ago, he started the first marathon, LA Marathon, and there were 11,000 people. I didn't go till like 87 or 88 before I ran, and 11,000 is a lot of people. But this year, 27,000 people showed up for the LA Marathon. So he did good things for the area. He leaves behind his wife, former Supervisor Yvonne Brathwaite Burke, and 2 daughters, and we will adjourn in his memory tonight. Thank you, good night, and God bless you at 8:02.